for a similar age. Mauna Loa volcano on our right side. Look where all the lava flows came from. Pretty quick, you'll notice not too many came directly out the summit. Most of them came out of that ridge left of the summit, and that's Mauna Loa's northeast rift. Think of it as a crack down the side of the volcano that keeps rupturing, a weak spot. That road is the Mauna Loa access road. It goes all the way up, not to the summit, but up to the solar observatory. Now, if you look just underneath the snow and slightly right, there's some buildings over there. That's Mauna Loa Solar Observatory, about 11,000 feet. That's where the road stops. But it is public. You can drive up there if you want. It's kind of a small little windy one-lane road, but it's paved. That also means you can technically go higher on Mauna Loa than you can on Mauna Kea on pavement. Because on Mauna Kea, the pavement ends at about 9,000. And then you got to have four-wheel drive if you want to keep going. But you can go all the way to the top of Mauna Kea if you have four-wheel drive. This one can't really go to the top. Little white dome halfway up the slope. That's a Mars dome. A bunch of people have been living inside of it, practicing what it might be like to live on Mars. And way down slope to the left, clear down in the distance on the shoreline, that's Hilo, largest city on the island. Hilo's claim to fame, #1 rainiest city in the whole United States. And that also means we're a little bit lucky today because the weather is fantastic. And my point is, you cannot see Hilo from here. It's covered in clouds and rain all the time down there. It's a really nice day. Little holes in the ground, just a couple of them right in front of us, and you'll start seeing more as well. A lot of times when you start finding holes, you'll notice there'll be a bunch lined up in a row up and down the hill. And what you're finding is holes in top of an old lava tube. Now, lava tubes are pretty interesting. When eruption happens, lava comes out, starts going down the slope. In the beginning, it's just what you think, a lava flow on the surface. But it doesn't really stay that way very long because it cools down rapidly, and it cools from the outside in, creating its own crust. Crust over a lava flow, that's the beginning of a lava tube. Of course, neat thing about that crust once it forms is it now acts as an insulator. It's like a blanket. Now the lava can stay hot further, and then the process repeats. So with time, lava tubes can get longer and longer. Give them enough time, sometimes they'll take the lava all the way down to the ocean. Although it usually takes a while. It could be multiple weeks, if not a number of months to go that far, but it can. And one more thing about lava tubes, they kind of a little bit intermittent. They can collapse at any time. They could clog up. So you could have lava going all the way down into the ocean, mixed down there, it's going into the water, and then one day you come out and there's no lava going to the ocean, and instead it's pouring out the side of the hill somewhere because the tube got clogged up. Things can change pretty quickly out here at the volcanoes. We're going to be crossing over kind of the lower slopes of Mauna Loa's northeast rift, this ridge we were talking about, right? A lot of eruptions have come out of the rift over the years. But the most recent eruption from Mauna Loa is right here. It came out of the rift up here, headed to the right, and it was flowing across in front of us downslope right towards Hilo. 1984. It went for 3 weeks. This one advanced relatively quickly. It went a total distance traveled of about 20 miles in 3 weeks' time. And it was getting pretty close to town. It was within like 3 miles from town before it quit. So they were kind of getting worried. Luckily, the eruption stopped. This dark stuff here. There's a couple different bands of it, but all these real dark bands, that's all 1984. And as we cross over the 1984 lava flows, and of course, the northeast rift of Mauna Loa, this will be enabling us to see the summit of Kilauea. It's coming into view right in front of us now.
So is the insurance premium horrible with all this volcanic activity?
One more time, the first part of your question, I missed it.
I was just wondering around about the insurance premium for a homeowner.
Oh, insurance premiums. Good question. So, it depends. So the entire island has been mapped out by the geologists. They went around and they did a huge survey and they tried to figure out, with like radiocarbon dating and rock samples, how recent has the lava been in all the different areas of the island. And then using that information, they made a hazard map based on historical lava flows, you know. If it's been real recent, they figure, well, it's probably going to come again soon too. If it's been a really long time, it's a low risk area. So using that, they've got a map, and they have numbers. It's rated 1 through 10. If you're in zone 1, actually it's zone 1 through 9. If you're zone 1, you're in the highest risk area there is. So like the Kilauea caldera in front of us. This rift on our right side, right there, that's a zone 1 as well. Anywhere that lava's been real recently and likely will again in the very near future, that's zone 1. But as soon as you get just a little bit away from the actual eruption site, you know, maybe on the slope over here on our right, that's probably a zone 2. So it's still high risk, but you know, the lava won't necessarily come right there every time. And so on and so forth. And then when you get over to Kohala volcano, that one's extinct. So they've put that as zone 9. The last eruption over there was like 120,000 years ago. So yeah, premiums are based on it, or whether or not you can even get insurance. If you're in, some of the insurance companies won't insure anything below a zone 4. And even at 4, it's probably a higher premium. Another thing is home loans. Same problem. You know, they won't give you a loan if you're in too high of a hazard zone. So, but here's, on the flip side, the land gets cheaper and cheaper the lower that number is. So you come over here by the volcano, there's some really affordable houses. But then you still go out to get a loan and the bank's like, no. So, yeah, give and take. Kilauea volcano straight ahead. It's the shortest volcano on the island. If it weren't for the smoke coming out, you could easily miss this volcano. It doesn't have a big peak to it, doesn't stand out. For a long time, nobody even realized it was a separate volcano from Mauna Loa here. They thought, oh yeah, Mauna Loa's got a flat spot kind of down on the side that kind of happens to erupt a lot down there. But eventually they determined there's an independent plumbing system and a distinctly separate called magma chamber. That all means it's a different volcano. It's just younger and hasn't grown as tall yet. Eruption today, this particular eruption has been contained entirely within the caldera. It hasn't come out at all, and it probably won't anytime soon. I mean, you never know, things can change fast sometimes, but right now it's way down in the caldera. It's got an awful lot of filling to do before it could ever potentially overflow, and it probably never will, because it'd take an enormous amount of pressure to push the lava all the way up in the caldera and overflow the rim. Instead, most likely, the lava will come out somewhere else on the side if this eruption continues long enough. The pressure will build and crack and rupture down on the side of the volcano somewhere instead. September 29th, 2021, that's when this one began. And really there was a break for about 5 months. Previous eruption had started December 20th, 2020. That went all the way till June, and then we had a break till September, and then basically the same kind of eruption has resumed inside the caldera. So we're definitely hoping to see lava down in the caldera today. Odds are pretty high because, well, we saw lava this morning, and that's a really good sign. Most likely we'll see some down in there. The caldera is much deeper than it once was. In 2018, the end of a 35-year eruption was kind of in progress in 2018, and the pressure in the volcano was draining rapidly, and the summit caldera was sinking and sinking. And it got 4 times deeper than it used to be. Ended up being a half-mile deep when the eruption was done in 2018. And then it started filling with water. We got a lake down in there. Of course, the water has since boiled